Hi, fellow adventurer. It's Cara from CaraWild.com, and today I wanted to talk with you about the difference between your soul and your guide. Now, this came about because I had a client who already worked with her guides, and as you already know, I help people to channel their guides, and I also work as Aurora to help people to connect consciously with their soul and to verbally channel their soul. So this client, before they started working with me, had already started working with their guides, and they already are a channel, and they wanted to know, what's the difference? What's going to be different for me? And that's such a brilliant question. And I've got my own experience, and I've going to talk to the experiences of other clients and students that have worked with Aurora, and it's really, really similar. So here we go. Obviously, I'm not claiming to be like a guru or an expert on this. This is my experience and that of my clients and students. So when you connect with your guide, there's it's like having a friend and your own cheerleader. Somebody that's always there, and they quite often act as a blueprint for how to treat yourself. You're loved unconditionally by your guide. They've got really strong boundaries and they don't move from their truth. And that teaches you about how to love yourself unconditionally, how to speak from your own truth, and how to have boundaries. And what tends to happen is that people get aligned more quickly when they're working with a guide on living authentically. So I tend to think of having your guide is like a cheerleader, and it's like having a friend to one side. Working with your soul, so your soul is a very different experience. So people experience it differently. I experienced mine. I had an amazing experience of connecting with what sounded like a collection of tone and sounds. There was no emotion to it. So there was love, but it was a very different kind of feeling than what I get from my guide. And it just felt like really deeply intimate, very deeply intimate. And I can have conversations with my soul, or sometimes people call it their inner being. And it's a vibrational expression of my authenticity. And it feels warm, and it feels connected, and it feels very you, but it doesn't feel like a cheerleader on your shoulder. So some people experience their soul as like just this warm, loving presence that just wants to hold them. And some people experience it as a really grounding energy that comes into their body. But every single person says it just feels more personal. They have a sense with their guide that there is a separation, and they have a sense with their soul or their inner being that it's just them. It is them at a vibrational level, and their body is a physical manifestation of that. So in that kind of perspective, what's the word? In that zooming out and zooming in thing, whatever it's called, that from the perspective of Cara Wild, physical reality here and now, it's quite a narrow view. There's not much sense of oneness and connection, although I can get to that level, but everyday physical reality, I tend to think of myself as a separate being. And I align with my soul, and I can feel a vibrational representation of that. And I get to know Cara Wild authentically in this lifetime more. With Aurora, it's like there's an overlap of my best qualities and them, because there's a resonance at an energy level, but they very distinctly feel like a separate being from me. We have had experiences in other lifetimes, but you will retain a sense of a separate identity and individuality than you. Whereas with the inner being, there's no sense of that. It's just you at a different level. So as I see it, that's the difference between a soul and a guide. And so it's been rich for me to learn how to channel both. And that's what my clients and students say as well, that there's that much of a difference experience, that the two almost act as a bridge to each other. And when you've got both, You've got the best of both worlds. You've got that knowing of yourself at the vibrational level, and you've got a best mate, a cheerleader that's there for you and your truth for the rest of your life. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to join our Facebook group, Soul Inc. Adventures in Consciousness, and come over, we chat about this stuff all the time. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think the difference is between soul and a guide. See you soon. Bye.